Welcome back, folks. This is Jimmy, the digital trading card collector. I've got another set for you. I just finished it up. This is the 1956 Topps U.S. President's Trading Card set. A very colorful set. One you just got to have for your collection. If you enjoy history, this is a set for you. Let's get started, folks. Okay, here we go. Card number one, Commander Washington. Of course, this was when he was the commanding general for the Continental Army to free us from England and make us the United States of America. Here's the card number two, signing the Declaration. Of course, the Declaration of Independence was what freed us. There was a documentation that freed us from England so that we could be our own independent country. Really colorful cards here, folks. Card number three, our first American president, George Washington, 1789 to 1797. A truly great man who started this great nation of ours. Card number four, John Adams. He was president from 1797 to 1801. Card number five, of course, the writer of the Declaration of Independence and a wonderful president. I visited his home in Virginia. A great innovator, truly great man. 1801 to 1809, a two-term president. Card number six is James Madison, 1809 to 1817. Of course, if you remembered, the United States was attacked by England in 1812, and they burned down the White House. He weathered that storm and saved our nation. Of course, here is a card number seven, the burning of the White House, as we were just talking about. They burned it to the ground. I think Dolly Madison cut some of the portraits of some of the great people and presidents and what have you in the White House right out of the frame so she could save them as she was dashing out while the White House was in flames. Card number eight, James Monroe, who is my namesake. Of course, he is famous for the Monroe Doctrine that says that we are protected in this hemisphere from anyone taking over our territories. 1817 to 1825. Card number nine, John Quincy Adams, 1825 to 1829. Card number 10, a truly great man, great general. His big claim to fame was he got rid of the Fed, which has controlled our money for many years. He got rid of them. We printed our own money as a nation rather than the banks printing our money for us. Unfortunately, back in 1913, they manipulated and got it started again, but he ended it for quite a while for us, and a truly great president. Card number 11 is Martin Van Buren, 1837 to 1841. Card number 12, William Henry Harrison, 1841. My understanding is he was so happy to be president, he gave an hours-long speech in freezing cold at his inauguration. He got sick, and because of it, he passed away. Card number 13 is John Tyler, 1841 to 1845. Card number 14 is James K. Polk, 1845 to 1849. Card number 15, Zachary Taylor, 1849 to 1850. I assume he died in office. He at one time was a great general, I think during the Spanish-American War. Card number 16 is Millard Fillmore, 1850 to 1853. Card number 17. Look at the color of that card, folks. Isn't that nice? I love that color. Franklin Pierce, 1853 to 1857. Card number 18. James Buchanan, 1857 to 1861. Of course, this was the lead up to the Great Civil War, 1861 to 1865. Card number 19, of course, is the great Abraham Lincoln, 1861 to 1865. Of course, he was president during the Civil War. He led our nation through a very, very rough time. He was reelected in 1864 to a second term, and of course, as you all remember, he was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth at Ford's Theater in 1865. A really, really great leader. He made some really tough decisions in his time, and he's really helped our nation. Card number 20, Andrew Johnson. Of course, when Lincoln was assassinated, Andrew Johnson, who was from the South, and was vice president, got to become president. A lot of people in the North didn't like it. They impeached him. They tried to get rid of him. And fortunately for our nation, our laws stood, and by one vote, he was able to stay in office. Card number 21, Ulysses S. Grant, 1869 to 1877. Of course, he was the general that led in the final year. He led the Union Army in the defeat of Robert E. Lee and the Southern Army. In the background, you see where they had signed the peace treaty. This was the end of the Civil War. This was a monumental moment in our American history. Grant was a kind of a rough, around the edges guy, but he was tough enough to take the fight, and as Lincoln said, the people said, "Why in the world do you want Ulysses S. Grant to be the general for the Union Army back in 1864?" And Lincoln said, "Because he fights." Card number 22, Rutherford B. Hayes, 1871 to 1881. Evidently, he was president for 3 terms. Card number 23, James A. Garfield, 1881. I believe he was the first president that was assassinated. Of course, in the background here, you see the Erie Canal. It was a great idea, an inland waterway and a means, or instead of carrying goods by wagon, you could carry large boatloads that were shiploads on the canal that were pulled by mule teams. Card number 24 is Chester A. Arthur, 1881 to 1885. Card number 25 is Grover Cleveland. Grover Cleveland was president 1885 to 1889, and then as you see on card number 26, Benjamin Harrison became president from 1889 to 1893. Well, then Grover Cleveland ran again, and he got elected to a second term. They weren't consecutive terms, but he got elected to a second term and was president until 1897. Card number 27 is William McKinley, 1897 to 1901. Card number 28 is Theodore Roosevelt, 1901 to 1909. Of course, they knew him as Teddy. The teddy bear was crafted after him. His major claim to fame was the fact that he broke up the oil trust and the tobacco trust. These corporations had become total monopolies. It was said that Rockefeller, who of course controlled the oil industry, they said whenever people would ship tank loads of oil from the fields to the refineries, Rockefeller was so greedy, he would make the train companies charge competitors an extra amount that he would get for hauling other people's oil. Just not a very nice guy, folks. Not a very nice guy. But good old Teddy Roosevelt, he broke those trusts up. Same thing with the tobacco industry. Let's see, who was it? Who was it now that I can't remember the guy's name. But anyway, he broke them up too. Card number 29, William Howard Taft, 1909 to 1913. Card number 30, Woodrow Wilson, 1913 to 1921. He was the president during World War I when we fought the Germans the first time. Card number 31, Warren G. Harding, 1921 to 1923. You have to assume he died in office. Card number 32, Calvin Coolidge. He was president from 1923 to 1929. He was president during the lead up to probably some of the really good times in American history, before the Great Depression. Card number 33, Herbert C. Hoover, 1929 to 1933, an industrialist by trade. He is unfortunately is credited with the causing of the Great Depression. Card number 34, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, 1933 to 1945. He is famous for his fireside chats where he would sit down in the evening and talk to America on the radio. People all around the country would gather around the radio to listen to him talk, and he gave people hope during the Great Depression. He had all kinds of work projects. He built things like the Hoover Dam. He built the things like the Blue Ridge Parkway, many road construction jobs, make work jobs, just to give people a job, give them hope, and give them some self-worth. A great man, great man. Card number 35, Harry S. Truman, 1949 to 1953. Truman Truman, of course, became president after Franklin Delano Roosevelt passed away. When he ran in 1948 for re-election, everybody thought he was going to be beat by a gentleman by the name of Dewey. One newspaper even printed up a big headlines the night of the election saying Dewey wins. Of course, Harry Truman, one of the most famous pictures in all of American history, was Harry Truman holding up that newspaper saying Dewey wins, when in reality Truman had won the presidency by the electoral vote. Card number 36, and the last card in this set is Dwight D. Eisenhower, 1953 to 1961. Dwight Eisenhower was one of the truly great leaders of our time. He was the commanding general of the Allied forces during World War II. He took major risks, and he defeated the Germans. And if it hadn't have been for him, who knows what we would be under, what type of rule we would be under today. He was awarded in 1952. He was elected president of the United States, and he served 2 terms. It was some really great times. I was just a young little boy during the time of his presidency, but it was some great times for our nation. The economy was roaring. Houses and industry was being built nationwide. Just a truly great time. Well, folks, that's it. If you like my channel, go down there and hit that like button. Join my channel. Go down there and subscribe. Also, I'll be trying to do a couple of these a week. I just want to share what this hobby and how great it is, and the color and the history and what have you. Baseball cards, non-sports cards, just the gambit of all of them. Y'all have a nice day. Come back and see me. See you next time. Bye.